Please give it up for Georgia Lines.
That's Georgia Lines about to perform Hine E Hine at the Te Reo Maori live concert in Auckland. Today she's releasing her version of the song as a single. After all, it is still New Zealand Music Month. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I loved it. Loved it. Such a cool environment, cool, beautiful, what's the word? Like it felt very encouraging and supportive, like being in that environment. It's like a family,
Right.
Everybody was kind of there and supporting you, and yeah, it was awesome.
So is the feeling of being supported important to you?
100%. I think
Yeah.
any creative field that you're in, it takes a lot of vulnerability and courage and honesty, and those things are scary to share with people. And if on the flip side of that, if you're not feeling supported, I feel like it's even scarier, or it's like you're putting yourself so far out on the edge, and
Right.
out by yourself. And when you've got the feeling of the support, whether that's like from your team, or from, like, I've got a really supportive family, which is incredible, or just even when you're playing a show and you've got this feeling of support within the audience, like it changes everything, because you feel like they're on your side, they're for you, they're ready to be there to listen. I think it's everything.
Cool.
It makes
Now, before we talk about the music, there's more important things to discuss. I've seen you. This is like the third time I've seen you this week. I have to talk about your wardrobe, because you're wearing some of the coolest clothes I've seen. Not today necessarily, but yesterday and at the museum. You had the white gown and the green and yellow thing going on and all that. Tell me, is that all your clothes?
Yeah, all my clothes. I've been staying up in Auckland all week because I've had obviously all these shows going on, and my hotel room is just, there's clothes everywhere, because I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to feel like wearing, and so I'm going to, bring 20 outfits. And the museum, I had obviously the outfit change, because I was like, I can't decide between what outfits I would like to wear. And then, yeah, I loved that gowny, the sparkly, fun gown. And then
Right.
last night wearing the bright, almost look like popsicle, like the bright fluoro road cone colored pants with the yellow top. Like I love fashion so much. It feels like an extension of my personality. It feels like I can be really creative in that, and I can just wear something because I love it.
Right.
And that's, honestly, it's like one of my most favorite things, like planning a show, but then also planning my outfits.
And how many pairs of shoes and boots did you bring?
Like maybe 5. They're all sitting on the like windowsill of the hotel, because I was like, I don't know where to put them.
All right, now we'll talk about some music. So you've got this new single coming out on Friday.
Yes.
So give us the lowdown. What's the story behind it?
The lowdown. So I am releasing Hine E Hine, and I have been playing that song for, I think, maybe the last year now, ever since the Tour Wahine show here in Auckland. And at the time when we're pulling all of that show together, we all had to choose as artists a waiata that in Te Reo Maori that we wanted to perform as a part of the night. And this was the first song that came to my mind, and I guess was one of the, the only waiata that I already knew and I had a connection to. And I brought that to Ria Hall, who was doing pulling the show together, and she said, you know what, I actually really was hoping that you would want to do that song. And so I learnt the song. I played it at the show on a beautiful, beautiful grand piano. And I guess from that moment, there was maybe like this further connection to the song, and this, I felt like there was something in the song that made sense to me as an artist. And so every show, not every show, but most shows since, I have been playing this song and doing a version of the song. And so it's been lingering in the back of my mind, like I really would love to record it and release a version of the song. And it's finally a year later we're able to do that. And so I'm really excited to have this one out. I feel like it's the way that we've recorded it feels very me, but it captures, the original intention of the song and the lyrics, and it
Right.
feels like such a privilege to be able to record it and to capture that and to release it. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you're kind of in your early stages of your Rio journey, and you had some comments about the English versus Maori language as far as lyrics and music and all that. So elaborate on that for us, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, with our English language, we, use very limited metaphor. It's not very poetic. We just say it as it is. It's like we say, I love you, and that's it. There's no, I mean, you can say that different ways, but with, translating tōrere, which I did last year, the biggest thing that stood out to me was the metaphor and the poetic nature of the Maori language, and how when you say I love you, there's actually 10 different ways that you could say I love you that capture a completely different meaning. And that whole journey for me was something like I didn't realize that. I just, you kind of think in your mind, when you take one word, you translate it into another language, that there's one option that you can choose. And when I was working with Hannah, she was like, well, what's the song about, and what are you trying to convey, and what's the story and the picture that you're trying to create here? Because there are so many different words that we could use, and there's so many pictures that we can create here. And so that has been, I guess, the biggest thing that I've loved in this journey of learning, is that it is not one-dimensional, that there is this beautiful poetic, I know I keep using that word, but I think that's something so amazing. And I would love to keep learning. I would love to do like a Te Reo course. And yeah, I do feel like I am in the baby stages of my Te Reo journey, but I feel like it's a real privilege to be on that journey, and so
Right.
grateful to be able to, record these songs and translate these songs and share them.
Gotcha. Now, in addition to the new single, there's a relatively new one called Leave Behind that just came out like 2 weeks ago. So you're on a roll. Tell me a little bit about Leave Behind while we're here.
I'm packing you up tomorrow, throwing it all away. Are we selling it all for nothing? Don't wanna leave behind, leave behind. Pack you up in the morning, I'll be throwing it all away. Just selling it all for nothing. Don't wanna leave behind, leave behind.
So Leave Behind, I'd actually written about 2 years ago now, when we first came out of that initial lockdown. And at the time I was dealing with the grief of losing my papa, my grandfather. And it was like a sudden, not that anybody plans death, or, but it was sudden and unexpected. And so I went into this songwriting session, and the next day we were supposed to, as a family, go through all of his things and pack them up and put them into the boxes. And I'm a very sentimental person, and I love things, borderline hoarding. And I just really struggled with the idea of having to, take something that was his, that had that meaning and the sentimental memory and the value, and give it away or take it to the op shop or sell it on Facebook Marketplace. And, this person would show up and they're just really stoked to, get some golf clubs or something. And they have no idea the story and the person that they once belonged to. And so Leave Behind is about that journey for me, about learning to grieve and let him go, and the physical, I guess, process, literally unpacking you up tomorrow and throwing it all away, and this verbal processing that was happening for me in the song. So that's what Left Behind's about, and I love that it's finally released, and feels very special to share it and to have it out in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I saw you at the museum the other day. You had the string section with you.
Yes.
Which was fantastic. And you sang a song with Cassie Henderson. I think it was a Billie Eilish cover.
Yes.
But the thing that struck me the most was because after the Billie Eilish thing, you sang your own song, Made for Loving, which, I've heard you say, you played it here at my place, as a matter of fact.
Right?
But it just was like, man, that's a great song. That should be a hit.
Well, baby, I know it's true. I was made for loving you. So tell me if you want me to.
Being in that space in the museum, there's this beautiful bigness and majestic feeling in the space, and when your sound is like filling the room. The whole time I was there, I was like, this is amazing that I'm in here. And there were so many moments within the set that just felt very special, and throwing the APO members on top of that, it brings my own songs. I'm like, I've heard these songs hundreds of times and I've played them so many times, but playing them with the strings and the harp and being able to reinterpret them and being in that space, like, it was so beautiful. And I kind of felt like I was having this almost out of body experience of trying to be really present and doing my job and playing a show, but also absorbing all of this that was going on. And you're trying to take it all in and also not stuff it up at the same time.
No, you didn't do that.
Well,
So with that in mind, with all these experiences that you're having, are you thinking about putting together a full album finally?
I mean, that is something that we're talking about at the moment, but I think we're basically, I'm like, how much do I share? How much do I don't?
I know.
We're definitely...
Don't give away any state secrets.
I know. An album is something that I really want to do, and I think it'll be not the end goal, but I think that's where I'm moving, because I feel like I'm almost ready to do that. But I've been working on a bunch of songs that I think are going to be an EP first, and then I think the next stage, or the next part of the process after that, will be an album. So I don't know when the album's going to be a thing, but the EP will definitely be out in the next little while.
Gotcha.
Won't share my state secrets with that either. But yeah, we'll definitely be working on, after that, towards an album, because I feel like I'm ready to.
So when you're playing with the APO and you got Cassie on stage with you, and you had there was a pretty funky band on stage with you last night, especially at the end when you're all singing around. So does that influence what you're thinking about, what you want to do for yourself?
I mean, I'm constantly jumping around between, I want to do something with a full orchestra, and I love playing with a band, and I love, just being on the piano by myself. And, I feel like as an artist, I'm all of those things, where I can do something that I want to do because I love it, and I want to do it. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like when I'm creating something, I'm not creating something with how it's going to be interpreted with strings, or sometimes I'm thinking about the band, or sometimes I'm thinking, oh man, this would be amazing in this setting. But I'm not often creating with, maybe I should be, maybe I need to do a little pivot and change and, write for an orchestra or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm always thinking, oh, this would be awesome to do that, and let's do this. And now that I've played with, a few members of the orchestra, I would love to do a full orchestra show. Fingers crossed.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you've had a pretty productive trip up here in Auckland.
Yes, it's been a busy week, but it's been awesome.
Very good. So hopefully folks will check out the new single, Hine E Hine. Am I pronouncing it properly?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Nice.
I'm still frightened.
It's doing great.
But I'm trying. Anyway, great. So yes, congratulations on the
Thank you
single.
so much.
Thanks for, the shows have been great that I've seen you with. I can't wait for you to come back up here again.
Thank you.
So, and can't wait for that album.
Yes, me too.
All righty.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
so
much.
much.
Have a great day.
Lovely to see
We'll
you.
see you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.